Try not to die by tripping over yourself, Quinn.
Quinn doesn't pay attention to the taunts. The harassment had become a daily occurrence for him, but several instances of harassment left him unable to curb his desire for revenge.
Shut your damn mouth, you stupid jerk.
Hearing the response, the boy clenched his fists and walked towards Quinn.
You level 1 piece of crap. When are you going to learn that you don't belong in this world?
The boy emitted a green beam from his hand. Quinn has nowhere to run. He's hit and his body slams into the wall. A crowd had immediately formed outside, interested in what the commotion was all about. One of the female students ran to check on the safety of the attacked student. As the dust settled, the schoolgirl finally saw who it was. She immediately backed away and went back to her friend as if nothing had happened.
I can't believe you tried to help him. I didn't see who it was.
Quinn stood up. He grabbed his broken glasses and got ready to leave the school. He didn't want to stay here much longer. When he finally got home, he immediately plunged into the experiment, first taking a book out of a drawer. Then he quickly went to his bag and took out a small test tube.
Test 112, hydrochloric acid. Let's see how it goes.
There was no response until the end of the experiment, 112 times. That's how many times Quinn tried to open the book. The book wouldn't open, and it couldn't be damaged.
Another failure. Why can't you open it?
Quinn lay on his bed as he turned on the TV, its background noise making him feel less alone. Upon turning on, the TV displayed an ongoing news show. Moderator reminds everyone to prepare for war as situation changes. Since a certain day 30 years ago, there has always been non-stop music for war on television. Humanity welcomed the so-called Dalki. They appeared out of nowhere, demanding that the humans hand over their resources and trying to take them as slaves. Of course, the humans decided to fight back, but they soon discovered that modern technology was useless against them. Every individual was told to fight for their planet, and that included Quinn's parents. When humans were on the brink of failure, some people with special abilities stepped forward. They began to share how to acquire this ability, and a war situation quickly turned around, ultimately leading to the signing of a peace treaty 5 years ago. Apparently, human greed overcame human nature, and high-ranking government officials kept them for themselves. Only those with money could learn greater powers. When his parents died, he was 10 years old. An agent appeared on his doorstep and handed him a book, and told him that it was the only thing his parents owned.
Why is the world so unfair?
Getting out of bed, he picks up his glasses, which are still a bit broken. Noticing that one of the lenses was slightly offset, he tried to knock it back into the frame. Unfortunately, the lens shattered into pieces and even cut his finger.
Why does the world hate me?
A drop of blood from his thumb fell on the top of the book, which suddenly opened and floated in the air, emitting a dazzling light that.
What the hell is happening?
The writing in the book was in a language Quinn had never seen before, but he felt he could read it. When the book turned to the last page, it began to fade away. At the same time, his body suddenly felt weak. His vision began to blur and he soon fainted. Gradually, Quinn's eyelids started to flutter open and his vision soon returned. His head felt heavy and his body was slightly sore.
Why does my head hurt so much?
After patting his head all over, Quinn then went to pick up his glasses that had fallen on the floor not too far from him. Quinn put the glasses on out of habit. He felt a little disoriented and his vision became slightly blurry. When he took off his eyes, his vision became clear.
Wow.
He thought before he quickly rushed to his desk to grab a pencil. He proceeded to draw the letter A on the wall and stepped back. His back hit the wall on the other side of the room and he could still see clearly.
What? But how?
Memories of the sudden fall to the ground flooded into my mind.
The book? Where the hell's the book?
When Quinn surveyed the room, he felt panic building up in him. The book was missing. He looked everywhere for the book, yet he couldn't find it.
Where's the damn book?
Quinn felt incredulous. He muttered. Quinn almost collapsed in thought, and finally he remembered what the book looked like, and then heard a sentence.
What was it? A type of system message.
As soon as Quinn said those words, a status screen appeared right before his eyes. The status screen details Quinn's various statuses.
Wow.
It's like the old games that people used to play. Quinn noticed the tabs at the top.
Skills. Skill locked.
Curiosity stimulated him. His life was normally characterized by boredom as he had no friends.
Can I do anything?
Daily quest, drink 2 liters of water, reward 5 EXP. Quinn shuts down the system. These skill books were usually sold by the military at high prices, and he had never seen such books, only heard about them in the whispers of his classmates. A smile started to slowly appear on Quinn's face. Thought he knew the book helped him tremendously. Quinn raised his right palm forward toward the kitchen sink.
Water bending. Come on. Okay, next. Wind out.
Quinn did the same again, but there was nothing happening. He made his way to his bed and sat dejectedly on it.
What the hell is this useless thing? Is it really just a system ability?
Quinn recalls the student's stories that perhaps by completing the task, he will eventually become stronger. Usually, ability books were based around one ability. If a person is a fire attribute, then he only needs to collect fire attribute skills. Quinn went to open his mini fridge, grabbing the bottles of water that were inside. He soon began downing the water bottles one by one.
Damn, how much is 2 liters? My belly feels like it's going to burst.
Daily quest complete. 5 EXP has been granted.
A loud knock from the door startled Quinn. He jerked and almost threw the empty bottle of water he was holding on the ground. Quinn dashed towards the door and opened it. Standing in front of him was a burly, muscular bald man dressed in a black military uniform. He had several medals on his clothes. His name is written in the area of his uniform above his chest, Sergeant Griff.
It's time for you to head to military school,
Griff announced.
Due to the war between humans and the Dalki, every individual was required to go to military school for the duration of 2 years. Quinn quickly went to the toilet before heading off with Sergeant Griff. Once he stepped out of his room, a new notification screen appeared in front of his eyes.
All stats will be halved while you are exposed to the sunlight.
All of a sudden, Quinn's body felt extremely sluggish.
Are you okay, boy?
The sergeant asked. However, Quinn was not listening, nor did he have any plans to escape his responsibility. He was merely too busy looking at the screen before him, seeing that his stats had gone down.
HP 5/5, Strength 5/5, Stamina 5/5, Agility 5/5.
He was still staring at the screen as another notification appeared.
You have received a new quest. Daily quest. Avoid direct sunlight for 8 hours. Reward 5 EXP.
Quinn's mood was lifted as soon as he saw the new daily quest. If the system worked the same way it did in games he had heard about, that would mean that once Quinn had earned 100 exp, he would be able to level up and also increase his stats. Quinn reached a large bus parked just outside of his apartment block. When he entered the bus, he noticed that it was already full of students who should be the same age as him. He opted to sit at the front of the bus since it was the only seat that was still available. The screen popped up in front of him immediately as he sat down.
Stats have returned to normal.
Well, at least it looks like it's only direct sunlight.
The bus jerked to life and started to move. The students were finally on their way. About 10 minutes into their journey, the pop-up screen came up again, and Quinn received another message.
A substance in the air has been detected. You are feeling sleepy. Resistance +1.
Quinn found this message quite strange. He noticed that half of the students were already asleep, and the other half were drowsing off. A black bag was thrown quickly over Quinn's head, and his vision was completely covered. The gas started to slowly creep up on his consciousness, overpowering him. There was nothing he could do. After a while, Quinn felt a splash of cold water chucked over his head. He and several other students began to lift their heads to look around them. This is where the lot of you will spend the next 2 years of your life, the voice of Sergeant Griff explained. The green plane was not the only thing the students saw. They were standing on an elevated platform with a city in front of them, a hidden city. These devices were too advanced for their time. There were mechs moving crates, and there were building machines, enormous things rising high into the sky with their crane. There was no one inside the machine, yet it laid down panel after panel of glass on a building that was still in construction. When Quinn finally managed to stop gawking at the new world he had been thrust into, he felt the weight on his hand and noticed that there was something placed around his wrist. It was a digital watch, yet there was nothing displayed on the screen yet.
Placed on your wrist is your lifeline. It will identify you as a student at this military base. It will allow you to access certain areas, pay for food, and all sorts of other things. When not in use, the wristwatch will display a number, your corresponding power level.
Griff said.
We will immediately begin testing your respective levels. Don't move until you are called forward, understand?
Griff shouted with a smile on his face, and everyone just nodded.
Good luck.